Chuck, thanks very much for the nice introduction, and Matt, thanks very much for asking me. I'm the kind of guy, okay, I'm from Cleveland, and my attitude is sometimes affected by the stories that I cover at work, and I've had a couple of downer days for the last 2 days, and these are the stories I covered the last 2 days. First one comes under the category of honest, I'm not making this up. Yesterday, I did a story about a delegation of prosecutors and investigators from the national government of Uganda that was in Cleveland on a field trip organized through the State Department to learn about corruption. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. So a story that has references to Idi Amin and the alleged wrongdoing of Jimmy Russo is something I never imagined doing that day. Jimmy Russo. See, they're just sort of one guy, aren't they? No. All right. And the story I did today, and some of you may have heard about it, Cleveland once again takes it on the chin in a survey from a national publication, Forbes magazine. We're number one. That's, I guess, the good news. The bad news is the category of we were ranked as the most miserable city in the United States. So those of you who subscribe to Forbes may want to revisit your subscriptions. So anyway, I'm hoping for a little more positive vibe and good feeling experience here. Well, I'm not as attractive as Connie Schultz, and not as witty, and that will soon be eminently clear. I've never won a Pulitzer Prize, and she has much better sources in the Senate than I do. But I am grateful and honored to be asked to pinch hit for her and speak to your organization tonight, the Northeastern Ohio City Council Association. A mouthful. I am impressed by your goals to educate, empower, and engage. To some extent, that's sort of the 3 E's of what we try to do in many of the stories I do. I normally get about 1.5 minutes for my reports, which can be on things like the complexities and the nuances of the latest medical mart agreement or the winners and losers in the state budget. So I'm not used to having this much time to speak, and there's no telling what will come out of this stream of consciousness. And plus, I don't have to talk so fast. So I can really relate to most of you as council members. I mean, your mayors get most of the attention and most of the glory, and you are the men and women on the front lines who are doing the pick and shovel work and connecting with constituents, kind of like a newsroom, where the reporters do the heavy lifting, find and prepare and present the stories, and gee, all the glory goes to the anchor woman or man. Not that they don't deserve all the recognition that they get, but sort of the pecking order, you understand. Although I can't complain, Channel 3 actually does try to promote its beat reporters as being more connected or more insightful as any reporters in town. And in the time that I have been there, they've gone through about 14 anchor people. So I'm still there. Greater rewards, greater risk. This is the best of times and the worst of times to be a mainstream media reporter in Greater Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. And in the 30 years that I've been doing this, this is the most challenging time to be a reporter. There are so many important and complex stories to cover. Yes, we know about all the economic issues, unemployment, foreclosures, but being kind of a positive thinker, glass half full sort of guy, there are so many projects and initiatives that have the potential to transform our region. Will a medical mart and convention center bring a stampede of visitors from around the world to check out the latest equipment and technology? Will it further heighten the profile and mean more business and recognition for our excellent hospital systems? Will Dan Gilbert's casino bring a new vitality and more dollars to the city and business for hotels and restaurants? Will Cleveland become a gambling mecca? Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Cleveland. Well, and what about the Flats East Bank? Finally, will it bring the critical mass of residents and retail that downtown needs to go to the next level and finally become a full-fledged neighborhood? And then there's the once-in-a-lifetime experience of being like the Founding Fathers in creating a whole new government from scratch. Many of you know Cuyahoga County's budget is bigger than that of several states. So can the waste and patronage and duplication be purged for a new system that is more efficient, more proactive in helping create jobs, better serve communities and residents, and find new ways to work and connect and cooperate with other governments in the region? And Cleveland schools, well, we know they are perhaps the region's biggest chronic shortcoming, biggest deterrent to people moving back into the city. Dr. Eugene Sanders now has got a plan out there that really has lots of potential. Again, trying to think on the upside, but again, let's be realistic. It's a system that is still only graduating a little bit more than half its students. There are green projects. Matt knows about a lot of those. The wind turbine farm in Lake Erie, old companies trying to redirect their manufacturing skills from being focused on the auto industry to alternative energy. So, there is so much happening, and yet traditional news organizations, the Plain Dealer, the Beacon Journal, all the television stations are trying to cover all of this important, all of this complex news with ever-shrinking staffs and resources. So there's the pressure to produce more stories with more deadlines and to just get stuff done and get it on the web. That creates more mistakes and maybe less reliable stories. And you also have to remember now that the reporters are by and large younger and a lot less experienced because the older, more seasoned reporters took the buyouts. So all of that, what does all of that mean? That means that there is more importance on reporters having good, trusted sources and good relationships with people like yourself, with officials in government and government workers, people that they can trust to provide them with accurate, reliable, complete information. Now, all of us in the news business know that it's our role and our purpose in life to be used by somebody. We hope more often than not used on the side of presenting accurate, complete information that shows all sides of an important issue in a way that is fair and balanced. But hey, let's face it, politicians and office holders have agendas. No. The challenge is to be able to tell a story of who, what, where, and understand the why behind whatever proposal or topic you're outlining. So who's behind it, for what reason, who benefits. So I am kind of an old idealistic relic who's covered thousands of stories here. But I still have the basic belief, and to many that may seem like, oh boy, he just fell off the turnip truck, naive idealism, that candidates and office holders like yourself are basically honest and honorable, that they are in or seeking to be in public service so they can improve things, help make the community better, stronger, and more prosperous. Well, that's just me. There are some reporters who are more into the gotcha style of covering stories, wearing trench coats and chasing you and doing in-your-face interviews, and they see the world a lot differently than I do, and that's their job. They think most politicians are frauds, cheats, incompetents, and they hope to catch every slip-up and mistake. So in this three-cornered relationship between government officials, reporters, and the reading and viewing public, everybody is increasingly suspicious of everybody else and becoming more so. Reporters and elected officials, well, we're kind of in the same boat. We are held in pretty low esteem and coming up sucking exhaust behind used car salesmen in a lot of surveys. Officials think reporters, as I said, are looking to catch them red-handed doing something wrong, and reporters don't want to be just water boys for politicians' agendas or sneaky motives.